Hi, this is Matt once again. We're about to end the video, and this is a paid request for Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really and truly do appreciate it. It could be any topic, movie news, tier list, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, video game playthroughs, whatever the case, and I'll do it as soon as I possibly can. So thank you. Like I said, I really do appreciate it. And Guillermo, very nice guy, he wanted me to review Operation Blood Hunt from 2024, which I had never heard of this film. I did not know what this film was. I mean, the title sounded neat. And I'm like, okay, it's World War II, soldiers fighting werewolves. That could be cool. Until I saw the cast, and I'm like, maybe this won't be as cool. So the film is directed by Louis Mandylor, the actor, who has a bit part in this movie. Now, Louis Mandylor, I've liked in a couple films. He was in The Debt Collector with Scott Adkins. I actually liked the second one, Debt Collectors. I actually thought the sequel was better than the first and was pretty decent, pretty good action film, in my opinion. And he's acted in other stuff too. Let's see, he does have a big part in this, but he directed this. And the film stars Rampage Jackson, man. I am not a fan of this guy. I do not think he's leading man material. He is not a good actor. He does not have a natural delivery of his lines. I did not like him as B.A. Baracus in the A-Team movie from 2010. I'm like, of all the people to cast in your lead role for this movie is Rampage Jackson? Is he really a guy that people go, I want to see the movie because of Rampage? Is that a case? You also have Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, who I remember from the movie From Paris with Love. He has a supporting role as a guy who owns a bar. Which I'll say, if you ever watch this film, take a drink every time he shoves a shotgun in someone's face or aims a shotgun at someone. Because he does that a lot. So take a drink anytime he does that. Now, before I get to the review, the plot, summing it up, is Rampage Jackson is a guy nicknamed he's Reverend, who is like a supernatural specialist. He is hired by some army, military intelligence, to go find these Marines who are missing. So it's supposed to get to his location. You're on go with a group of people, which they actually, before they jump out of a plane, the movie like stops and gives their name and their nickname. So I'm just going to say their nicknames. There's the Casanova, the Tracker, the Assassin, the Spy, the Sharpshooter, the Veteran, and the Gambler, as well as Rampage Jackson. So 8 people. Now, granted, the Tracker, the Spy, I mean, there's really not much use of them in this mission, but whatever. Most of these people. But anyway, they get to where they need to go. They get to this village. A woman shows them the rest of the way. Unbeknownst to Rampage Jackson, part of the mission is to get this Japanese gold. But then lo and behold, there's werewolves there, and they have to deal with them. The reason Rampage Jackson's doing this mission is to get info about what happened to his father. It'll cut away to this bar that we see near the beginning of the film that Jonathan Rhys-Meyers owns. He's good friends with Rampage Jackson. And Louis Mandylor at times pops up, and he's a vampire. But like one of the most ineffective, pussified vampires. Where he's never a threat. He gets his ass kicked all the time. And you didn't really need this vampire character. I don't know why he was even in the film in the first place. Like, you could really cut his character out. It would not have mattered to the plot of the movie. In this film, the one good thing I will say is it has pretty good werewolf suits, which is a shame that, while not perfect, the werewolf suits are actually pretty good for a low budget film. They remind me a little bit like Dog Soldiers, only that's a way better film, way better. But like in terms of like it's practical, a little bit of the designs, but it's a shame that these pretty decent werewolf suits are in this shitty fucking film. This is a shitty fucking film. That's why it gets a 3.4 on IMDb. This is a shitty fucking film. As low budget as hell. The acting such balls. The characters such taint. Rampage Jackson fucking sucks. Rampage's head through his fucking asshole to get a clue. God damn it, man. There's barely any action. There's a one or two werewolf bits, and then you gotta wait for a fucking hour for the werewolf stuff to pop in again. And even then, it's not a whole lot of shit. There's a couple little okay things, but not a whole lot. This film is supposed to take place in 1945, but goddamn, you wouldn't know it by the look of this film, the way it looks, the music they use, the way they talk. It all seems modern, so what the fuck in this seems like 1945? I could imagine a historic buff. If my friend Fabio reviewed this, he would lose his fucking mind by like, what? Like, because he's been in the military. Right, he wasn't there in 1945, but he would lose his fucking mind with this shit. Muzzle flashes, or they're CG, you could tell. Just dog shit movie, man. I don't know what the fuck. So it begins with, I think it's supposed to be Rampage's dad. Like this little flashback where someone picks up this jar that has this yellow-orange thing in it, which looks CGI. Like, really? You can't have a little jar with yellow-orange stuff, and you can't do that practically? You gotta do that? Shit in it CGI? Really? And then it feels like, it's like, we're jumping over. We're that. Okay, then we go to these Marines. These two find a body, and this werewolf jumps out, kills the two of them, slices one, their guts fall out. I'm like, okay. For a low budget, werewolf looks decent. They definitely put a bit too much lighting on some of them, but, I appreciate the practical suits. Sadly, it's wasted on this movie. You keep repeating that. This bears repeating, this is a fucking crime. Then it goes to Louis Mandylor, who goes to a bar owned by Jonathan Rhys Myers. They tell him to leave. He gets to a fight where it seems like he got a little bit of competence in doing the fight scenes, at least compared to the rest of the film. But then goes up to Rampage. Rampage stabs him with a sword without looking. Has the sword behind him. Then Louis Mandylor punches out like a vamp bitch. Rampage even takes one of his teeth. Tells him to get the hell out. And that's where these military guys come in and offer Rampage the mission. Like I said, Rampage is not leading man material. He cannot act for shit. He's on the level of 50 Cent in terms of acting. And if you're hiring for his fighting skills, he doesn't get to fight. There's no moments where he gets to punch people or use MMA or fighting. The most he does of action, he has this like cross that's like a shotgun. Which hell, Harvard Keitel did that. Fucked a little better from Dusk Till Dawn. And he shoots a couple werewolves. That's it. But again, why do you hire Rampage Jackson? The only reason you would hire him is maybe to do some physical fights, which obviously he's trained in, and you give him none of that. What did you hire him for his acting? Well, you fucking... That was a gamble that didn't pay off. Then they're on a plane. You have your typical kind of busting each other's balls back and forth. Again, none of this sounds like to be 1945. Nothing about it looks like 1945. If you said it was 1975, it would have been the same fucking thing. Or 1995, or 25, whatever. And then the movie, other than there's a bit where they fight a Japanese encampment, I just try to be like Predator, where the team has a mission, they fight some bad guys, and ultimately their goal against the creature, or in this case, creatures. Even that isn't much. I mean, you have a lady, the assassin, killing a couple people with a sword. The others like shoot a couple people. There's nothing momentous. There's nothing memorable. There's nothing to really talk about in this scene. I just throw in a random PM Entertainment action film from back in the 90s and you'll get a better action scene. Is it the worst I've ever seen? No, but it's just nothing really that to talk about. Kind of like, At best, you'd be like, That's probably the best reaction you get out of the scene. Or, man, it looks cheap because it is cheap. And again, I was noticing more of the muzzle flashes being CG. I think the smoke coming out of them was too. So after that, they get to this village. There's a lady who speaks English, gets them to the place they need to go. And again, it's like, can we get back to the fucking werewolves? Then it cuts to Louis Mandylor being in the bar again, and Jonathan Rhys Myers at one point shoots him, so he's stuck there, and says, "Give me some info. Those guys who came in, what is there something else they want?" So I guess the vampire works with those military guys, and he knows that the military guys want this Japanese gold, and that's really why they're going there. Like I said, this whole stuff with the bar stuff, why was this even in the fucking film? And then that whole story ends with Jonathan Rhys Myers just gets Louis Mandylor out the door, shoots him in the leg, and the last time we see it is Mandylor's burning up from the sun, and his face is burnt up a bit. And I'm assuming he dies, or I'm assuming they left it open-ended because they actually have a sequel bad ending. Good luck getting that sequel made, buddy. Although I've seen weirder things happen, so who knows. The 1 hour mark, finally a werewolf pops up again and attacks Rampage. There it cuts away to the other 7 folks getting the gold, trying to get into the trucks. They're separated into 2 groups. And that's when the werewolves come in and finally start killing people. But a lot of it is off screen. Well, not, okay, some of it is. Spoilers, sorry, I'm spoiling the film. But there's a reason why this gets a 3.4. You're not missing much, in my opinion. So spoilers, heavy spoilers. One guy gets grabbed, and you just see like the guy's back, the werewolf's here, and chewing on him. You see a little bit of blood. One guy just pulled away, and then you never see what happened to him. Some decent makeup on like the remains, like they're going through these hallways. There's a lot of remains of dead bodies. I didn't mind the way that looked. But yeah, the one guy just pulled away. You don't see what happens. The assassin lady tries to fight a werewolf with some 2 knives, but the werewolf just grabs her and rips both her arms off. Pretty decent effect. Done practically. That was fun. That's a highlight. That's probably, I thought, the best death in the movie. Is that the lady screaming and It shows the back of her, and werewolf just rips both arms off. Okay. So that's 3 down. You have 4 left. I'm trying to think how the others did it, though. I feel like I'm missing someone. One guy, werewolf's biting into him, and we see again the back of the person, the werewolf, and the back of the person, the werewolf here. And when the guy falls, I guess the werewolf took his skeleton, like from here to the rib cage. I'm like, okay. I mean, it looked a bit cheap, though. I kind of laughed more than anything. I think someone else died, but I don't remember. Because it ends with this guy who's kind of from Texas, like to think himself a little bit of a gunfighter. This lady and Rampage. They, after Rampage kills a couple werewolves, they drive away in a truck. They get to another place to patch themselves up. They get to a place. The other two have guns on them, but they keep fucking missing. One gets her head decapitated, where it really is just, it falls off. She's on the ground, and then the head falls off. I thought the parakeet's head's falling off. The other guy gets dragged away. So then Rampage, he just goes in with his... the gun looked kind of shitty too. I don't know what it was. Or maybe the sound just didn't have that impact. He shoots one werewolf. One werewolf, he like blows its hand off and then shoots it. But even when it shoots, it just leaves little bits. Like, come on, you want to see like big hits or heads blow up or something. You don't get a whole lot of that. And you don't get a whole lot of werewolves either. So he kills a couple, and then a werewolf's coming at him, and that guy, he wasn't dead. He has his 6 shoots. And then the werewolf turns back to the lady that spoke English and led them to the place in the first place. Now, I don't know if she dies, because they leave her there, and she's human form, and she's kind of shivering, but I don't know if she dies or not. I'm assuming she will die, because she did change back to but we don't really see her die. Unless I missed it. Maybe I missed it, and it's my fault. So just those two go back, and then Rampage gets back to the bar, tells the intelligence guys, yeah, I got your gold, but we're getting a percentage, and you get the rest, I'll get the fuck out. He didn't say it that way. He has a drink with Jonathan Rhys Meyers, and then a sequel-bait ending where a guy comes in and goes, oh, I'm from this village, and it's been killed by a plague, and pretty much hinting that the sequel will be about Rampage versus a mummy. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Lack of action. You have one or two little werewolf things, and then you don't see werewolf stuff till like an hour in. It's plotting, it's boring, it's terribly acted. Very, very low budget. They did not do an effective job anywhere of showcasing the period that they're supposed to be. This backstory about Rampage's father didn't really amount to anything. They even hints like, okay, well, what if one of these werewolves is your dad? That really never comes into play. You think that'd be interesting? Like maybe the werewolf is wearing something that he recognizes his father's, and then has to bow. No, that never really comes into play. You think that would, to make the story a bit more interesting, but no. And Rampage is a terrible lead. So when I don't give a fuck about the cast, the characters are nothing to run home about. There's a couple decent, the werewolves look pretty decent. There's one or two decent death scenes. I mentioned the arms being ripped off. Earlier, the guy's guts falling out. But man, needed more action in the first half. Needed the werewolves to come in earlier. I don't even know why they need to make this a period piece. Just make it a modern film, then you don't have to worry about that shit. There's really nothing that warrants this being a 1945 era movie. It really doesn't. Japanese gold, you just say, oh yeah, there was some gold left back from the days of World War II. There's a military base, people get killed, and wow, they found some Japanese gold there from back to the day. There you go. Could be modern and you don't have to worry about that shit. Yeah, you tell they didn't have much of a budget on this. And it shows. But yeah, don't take it from me. You watch it for yourself, but it gets a 3.4 on IMDb, and I can see why. I'm open to werewolf films. Especially soldiers versus werewolves. Hell, Dog Soldiers is my favorite werewolf movie. Dog Soldiers is awesome. It makes it even look better, because it could be worse, like this fucking movie. So, there you go. This further proves what makes Dog Soldiers good. Because you see them badly, and you go, yeah, well, now you see the difference. If there's people who don't like Dog Soldiers, teach their own, but I'd be like, okay, if you don't like Dog Soldiers, it's fine, but let me introduce you to this film, and like that's how you do it badly. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.